All right, welcome back, fellow scientists. Well, surprise, we're doing remote education. Good thing we've been doing this for 1 day a week for the whole school year. So we all know what's up. Last spring, when we went to remote education, beginning of COVID, I totally let the Psalm memorization just drop off the map. So I don't want to do that this time. Hopefully, we're just here for this week, and then after Thanksgiving, we'll be back. But anyways, you can pray for that. I'll be praying for that. So I do want to keep Psalm 139 in our minds, at the forefront of our minds. So maybe pause the video, maybe try to recite it as much as possible, and then come back to the video, and then I'll just recite it just for my own sake, and for your benefit as well. Just like I said, to keep it in the forefront of our minds. So here we go. Psalm 139. O Lord, you have searched me and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise, you perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you know it completely, O Lord. You hem me in behind and before. You have laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me, your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, O God, how vast the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. If only you would slay the wicked, O God. Away from me, you bloodthirsty men. They speak of you with evil intent. Your adversaries misuse your name. Do I not hate those who hate you, O Lord, and abhor those who rise up against you? I have nothing but hatred for them. I count them my enemies. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. All right, and then here is a devotional thought from one of you all from the beginning of this year. So this person says, Psalm 139 speaks to my heart because it talks about God's intimate love for his creation. God is so knowledgeable and purposeful. He knew us even before we were born, and he created our bodies wonderfully. It is incredible that God has planned all of our days, and we can never escape his presence. God's will for our lives is inescapable. That thought of an inescapable God is scary, true, but at the same time, so comforting, true. I'm reminded, as I'm reading this, I'm reminded of the Chronicles of Narnia, right? And one of my favorite lines in there is about Aslan, who is the God figure, the Jesus figure, and someone says to someone else, I forget who, but they say, he is not a tame lion. Which is true, right? And that also reminds me, last tangent, and then we'll actually get to anatomy and physiology. That also reminds me of, not Jacob, come on, Battle of Jericho, Joshua. Joshua in the Battle of Jericho. Right before the Battle of Jericho, he goes to the river and he sees the angel of the Lord, which most people interpret as a pre-incarnate Jesus Christ. And so he sees Jesus. And all of a sudden he's like, it's this warrior of light, right? And all of a sudden he like draws a sword and he's like, whose side are you on? Are you for us or are you for them? And then all of a sudden he's like struck and he like falls down to the ground. And the angel, Jesus answers, neither. I am the captain of the army of the Lord, right? And that's just like God's not on our side, right? If we're blessed and by God's grace, we are allowed to be on his side, right? And we are slaves of Christ and servants of Christ. So anyways, yeah, inescapable, not a tame lion, and he's not on our side, all right? Hopefully we are allowed to be his slaves. Okay, that's my devotional thought for today. So you don't need to write this down. If you found the Muscle Up lab sheet, Word document on LMS, maybe you have that in front of you. Maybe print that out. Hopefully you'll be able to hand that in hard copy. after Thanksgiving. But I'm just going to go over some formulas. Everything that I'm going to tell you is on the sheet already, but hopefully this will just make it a little bit clearer. So the goal of this lab is I want you to calculate your power output doing body weight exercises. Okay, so power meters are a big thing in cycling, right? To figure how much power output a certain cyclist has, and they use it with training. Like, okay, you did this much power before, now you can sustain this much, and it's all data. But it's a big thing, and I like cycling, and so that kind of gave me this idea. So power is measured in watts. Right, and watt is defined as 1 joule per second. Okay, so 1 joule per second. So joule is a measure of energy, right? Hopefully, if you've taken physics, this is not new to you. It's just a little bit of review. So we're all familiar, at least I was growing up, familiar with a 60-watt light bulb, right? So a 60-watt light bulb uses 60 watts in 1 hour. Or it would use, I can't even do that math in my head. how many seconds are an hour? Anyways, it would use a certain amount of energy, a certain amount of joules in an hour. Right now they're switching to LEDs, which are much more energy efficient, and so now they're calculating them in lumens, which is the amount of light that they emit, because now power, like, it's so minuscule, it's not really even a thing. So anyways, that's the background. Okay, and the way that we calculate watts is using this formula. So power, right, so that stands for watts, right? Power equals work, right, which is measured in joules, divided by time, right, and that's just the same, right up here. And time, as you can see, has to be in seconds. Okay, it has to be in seconds. All right. So this is what we're going for. This is our goal. Okay, you're going to be doing push-ups and sit-ups, and maybe for extra credit, an exercise of your own. You're going to be doing that for 30 seconds, right? So we know this T, right? This is going to equal 30 seconds. Okay. Now we need to find work. Okay. So the equation for work equals force times distance. Okay, so work we know is in joules. Joules. Force is measured in this unit called newtons. An homage to Sir Isaac Newton, who came up with a lot of physics. And I think he was the one that invented calculus. I think it was. I could be totally off base on that, but he was like scary smart, more degrees than Fahrenheit. It's crazy. And so then distance. Right, so we're going to be calculating, you're going to need a family member to help you with this, but they will be calculating the distance that you move when you're doing a push-up or when you're doing a sit-up, and this distance has to be in meters. All right, so this is meters. Obviously, I don't expect you to have a meter stick at home. Hopefully you have like a fabric tape measure or maybe a tape measure in the junk drawer or out in the garage or something like that. And you're going to have to measure it in inches, right? And then the lab sheet it gives you the conversion to go inches to meters. Okay, so our ultimate goal is power. Okay, we know time. This is the formula for work. Okay, so to find work, we need newtons, which we don't know yet, and we need distance. We can measure that. That's easy. So that's going to be one thing that you measure. And then the formula for force, probably the most famous formula in all of physics. Force equals mass times acceleration, okay? And again, force is in newtons, right? Mass, you can actually measure that, okay? So this needs to be in kilograms, right? But most of us know our weight. I'm like 150. I'm not a very big individual at all. So I would say 150 pounds, and then on the sheet I give you a conversion to kilograms, and so that's mass, right? And then acceleration, we actually know that number. That gravity makes things accelerate towards the Earth at 9.8 meters per second squared. 9.8 meters per second squared, right? And so we know that number. So now here, finally, now we can actually get some real numbers. We can use our mass and our acceleration due to gravity, calculate force. We can use force and then the distance we travel through the movement to calculate work. And then we can use work, and we can use the 30 seconds that we're going to do this movement for, and then we can actually use that to calculate power. Now, one thing that we need to be aware of. Okay, so here's I'm a horrible artist. So here's my stick figure person, right? And then this would be their arm, right? And they're lying face down on the ground, right? And they're in the low push-up position, right? So they're belly to the ground, low push-up position. Okay, so you're going to need someone. The pivot point for the push-up is right here. So you're lifting your whole body, but you're not lifting like your whole body all the way up, right? So we'll account for that in the math, and you'll see that. We're going to multiply it by a factor of, I want to say like 0.63 or something like that. Because I actually did this. I did a push-up on the scale and then just stood on the scale and then calculated the, the fraction of force that I was exerting on the scale. So it's scientifically valid and everything. So not that you guys care, I'm sorry. So what you're going to do is you're going to try to estimate the center of mass, right? So center of mass, I would say is, I don't know, somewhere shoulder, maybe somewhere torso, something like that. And you're going to have your assistant measure the distance from the ground, right, to that point, right? And then, right, you're going to, and this is all spelled out in the all right, there's the push-up right there. This is all spelled out in the lab, right? And so then you're going to have your assistant measure the distance, right? Oops, that's not a straight line. Measure the distance from that same spot down to the ground, right? And that's going to be how you calculate your distance right here. Now, obviously, you're going to do more than one push-up in 30 seconds. So there's a whole conversion in the lab and everything like that. And then also, right, for sit-ups, okay, so here you are, and then it goes like that, and then there's your legs, right, and then hopefully maybe you have your assistant kind of standing, right, on your legs, hands on the hips, let's go, do more push-ups, right, hopefully like that, right, and then maybe you'll have your arms, back here, something like that. So, again, before you do the push-ups, right, measure, right, and this here, your hips are your pivot point, not here your feet were your pivot point. Here your hips are your pivot point. So you'll take that measurement, right, and then you will, let's see if we can draw this. You'll go like this, right, and then up like that, and then here's the assistant, right, hands still on hips because you're not doing it correctly, and then there's your arms, right, back of your head, and your elbows touch your knees and stuff like that. And so then you'll measure, right, the distance from here, right, straight down to here, and then you'll, obviously with the formulas, calculate the total distance moved based on how many sit-ups you did, and based on this number right here. So that's just a little, hopefully, a little helpful instruction or diagrams on how to do this lab. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll give you today, 30 minutes today, right, and tomorrow to do this. I think that would be plenty time, right? This video is not even going to be 15 minutes long, so you'll have another 15 minutes, then you'll have a full half hour tomorrow to do this. And then on Wednesday, I'll come back with another video, and we'll learn some more muscle names. And then hopefully the week after Thanksgiving, then we'll actually be back in school, and we can do quizzes and stuff like that. If we're not, then I really have to think through what a fair and good and academically rigorous way is to do quizzes, because that's what this class is all about, as you guys know. So anyways, like I said, email me with questions. Stay tuned for more content, more videos, more lessons, and make sure that you do check in every day. So even tomorrow, even though you know what you're going to be doing, make sure that you check in on LMS so that I can mark you present for tomorrow, for remote day tomorrow. So this has been Mr. Leo. Hopefully this has been helpful. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on the flip side.